What's up, YouTube? Before we get to the title of this video, I just wanted to inform you guys that frequently follow my content that I also have a video that I want you guys to go and check out over on BitChute on my main channel. It's going to address the hypocrisy and also the tragedy of being a black male raised in a largely matriarchal black community. Directly, it's going to address the lies that a lot of these black females love to tell on social media about how black men ain't shit and how black men don't stand up for and try to protect their own. There are many examples that can debunk and rebut these claims. And I have one of those examples. Perfect example, because it touches on so many issues that are wrong with the black community. But that is going to be a video that's not suited for here. So you're going to have to go to my main channel to check that out. If you need the link, just shoot me an email or private message and I'll get it for you, though most of you who frequent my channel should know where to go. Now, I debated with myself as to whether or not I should upload this video on here or on my main channel, which is on the BitChute platform, because I know anything in relation to this stupid ass movie that people keep bringing up is controversial or going to be controversial. Now, as you may be aware, I've made it clear, and several other black YouTube content creators who know what the fuck is really going on, not just with the production of this film, but also in the black community as a whole, have stated that we're tired of people asking us to do videos about this dumbass movie. Okay, and plenty of other black content creators have decided and chosen to do reviews on this movie. Most of those reviews have been positive. My main issue was not even, it didn't have anything to do with most of what other people were talking about. Like Mr. David Carroll had brought up the fact that even though it had a black director and an all-black cast, it was a white film production company that made the fucking movie. And, it's, just pointing out the hypocrisy of the Negro going to support this, yet there was a movie, what was that, last year, Birth of a Nation, about the leader of a slave rebellion, Nat Turner, that completely flopped in theaters. And I'm not sure, but I think that was actually produced by a black person. However, like I said, that's not my issue, and that's not why I decided to finally do a video about this bullshit. The reason why I finally started to do a video about this bullshit was because I kept hearing it in the news. I kept seeing it every time I go and browse on the internet. And then I finally saw something that got underneath my skin and aggravated me to the point where I was like, okay, I've tried to ignore this because it's not important to me. The reason why I wasn't doing Black Panther wasn't because of a video commentary on Black Panther, wasn't because, I was boycotting or just ignoring it because I understand its hypocrisy, but simply because I don't go to fucking superhero and sci-fi movies. I'm more of a action biopic, historical value type of movie guy. A film, to me, it has to have some type of substance, and usually that substance has to be ingrained in telling the story of a historical figure or event. Okay, I just got done buying like a dozen DVDs through Amazon.com that cost me just short of $100. So I have a huge DVD collection, like 300. It's not that I'm against watching movies, and those of you who know, I did do I've done a few movie reviews, a handful on this and other channels. But I think I haven't even done I don't even think I've done half a dozen movie reviews in the entire time that I've been on YouTube. I know I did one for that movie Detroit, and I did one for Birth of a Nation, ironically, and those are the two that I remember off the top of my head. But the reason why I finally decided, well, let me go ahead, because I got to speak on this, and why I decided to um, critique this in a way that exposes the hypocrisy and the bullshit, is because today I was sitting in my car up near the airport, and I heard over the radio, news radio 780 WBBM. They said that Black Panther made it's been at the top of the box office for 3 weeks straight, and it has made a total of $500 million. Meaning this movie is on the level of like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings type shit when they initially debuted during their weekend box office. This is now the most viewed and most from a profit margin, from a profit perspective, one of the most successful films ever produced by Hollywood. And when I heard $500 million, which those of you should know is $500 million, I did some quick stats in my head, and just knowing what I know, about Negroes, I know that at least we just go to a ballpark figure. At least half the people, if not slightly more, that went to see this movie were Black Americans. Okay, so you have white people that are big. They're big fans of like the Marvel superheroes and sci-fi and stuff like that. I don't know exact. I think this falls under like the super action hero. I haven't went to see the movie. I'm not gonna waste my money to see it, but I think it falls under the like kind of like Avengers or something like that. Somebody can correct me. So you will have that that demographic of white and other groups of people that will go see a movie like this, that will label, they'll number like somewhere between the 40 to 50% range of people actually going to see the show. It would be higher, except for the fact that because I know the mentality of the average American Negro, me being Black and me being raised around Black folks who have exhibited that a lot of them have an IQ level not much higher than that of some people's blood alcohol level when they get pulled over by the police for drunken driving. I know that at least half of the people going to see this movie, if not slightly more than that, are African American. Now somebody would say, why is that a problem? And then what makes it worse is, and this is gonna tie into, because I know y'all wondering, what the hell does this picture have to do that you've been showing us throughout this entire video, and why this picture is gonna stay up here, and I'm gonna make the connection in a minute. Bear with me. I know for a fact not only that at least 50%, if not more, of the people who went to see this movie were African American, but that at least 3/4 of those people who went to see the movie were the Getonian types that, are on welfare and, complaining because the white man ain't giving them they 40 acres and a mule, and they reparations for slavery and all this shit that these ignorant black folks complain about all the time, instead of getting up off of their ass and actually doing something for themselves. So um, it's fair to assume that I'd say somewhere around a third of the people who went to see this movie were the Getonian type black folks that, unfortunately, I and so many other African Americans were raised around. Okay? Now, why is this a problem? This is a problem because this means that of the $500 million that this movie has made thus far and counting, at least $250 million of that money came out of the pocketbooks of African Americans. And at least 200 million of those dollars came out of the pocketbooks, came out of the wallets, came out of the purses of black people who claim they don't have any money to pay their bills, to develop their neighborhoods, to build businesses, to put jobs in their neighborhoods, to start and run their own police force, to raise election money, to put politicians in office, put people in office that will actually cater to the needs of their fucking communities, to oust these fucking black churches and actually put organizations and establishments in place that are going to do what's needed to help build projects to develop these communities. Okay? To put private school institutions in these neighborhoods for black students to be able to not only flourish but learn about their own heritage and their own history. Now, I will admit that $200 million is not all the money in the world. But if you take $200 million, okay, we won't even count all the money that came from black folks with this movie, for this movie. Just the hood type, welfare living off of link card at Walmart using type of Negroes that were majority black and female, as we already know. Okay, just take those. Just take that portion. That accounts, I guarantee it accounts for at least a third of the people who, you see the big deal these Negroes are making about this all over social media like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Okay? $200 million, you take that and you put that in one major community, one major black inner city. It can be New Orleans, it could be my hometown of Chicago, it could be Baltimore, any one of these incubation centers for crime, violence, and poverty. And $200 million in a year. Now, obviously, this $200 million would have to be followed up by something else, because like I said, $200 million for an individual person, a lot of money. $200 million for a whole community. It is a lot of money, but it ain't going to be a lot of money for long. That's a lot of mouths to feed. But in a year, $200 million is a hell of a starter package. You feel what I'm saying? You feel me? Hell of a starter package. Hell of a starter kit. You ever had to press that little button on the side of your lawnmower to get it going before you could, pull that fucking string because it was stalled out or flooded out, and it finally started up after you pressed it? That's a hell of a bump. That's a hell of a bump starter. But because of the mentality of Negroes, and this is what kills me, they claim that nobody cares about their community. Nobody's doing anything for their community. They don't have nothing. They can't do anything for themselves. They're sitting around with their thumb in their freaking mouth every day, scratching their asses, wondering where in the world is Waldo with their slave reparations. And yet, somehow, they managed to come up with $200 million in 3 weeks. That's another thing I forgot to mention. It's not like this was over a year. It's not like this was even a month. $200 million out of $500 million in 3 weeks to support a movie that wasn't even produced by a black film studio. Yet these Negroes can't even come up with $1,000 to put up wanted reward posters for people who murder and kill innocent people in their own damn communities every single day. They can't raise enough money to keep schools open that actually are teaching their kids something, to get them the proper curriculum and teachers in the schools that actually give a damn about them and their futures. These are the same Negroes that can give billions of dollars a year. We don't even have to just talk about this movie. They can give billions of dollars a year to these churches, to these student organizations, to the NAACP. They can go out and cast their vote every year for the Democrats. Yet somehow, some way, when it comes to helping themselves, helping their neighborhoods, reestablishing the vital and very needed connection for black families, it's like they speak in a different language, like Chinese or fucking Spanish. No habla inglés. No habla inglés. All of a sudden, these Negroes don't know how to speak English when it comes to helping their goddamn self and their neighborhoods and their communities. They need somebody else to do it. But when it comes to weave in one of these beauty salons, when it comes to getting their nails did, when it comes to getting an iPhone 6 or 5 or 7 or 10 that costs hundreds of dollars, they got money for that. Some of these females I see on welfare, even driving around in damn near brand new cars. Explain that to me. How? Because that's the point. That's the connection that I'm making between this video and the bullshit ass hypocrisy of this movie. Because somebody please explain to me how. When you go on social media, almost every ratchet thought you see has an iPhone, and the latest iPhone taking pictures and selfies of herself or full body shots. How does that make sense? When a majority of these ratchet thoughts that have illegitimate children all over the place and are on welfare and child support claim to not be able to support themselves or their children or pay their bills on their own without the help of child support and welfare. Yet somehow they find the money. They find the money to go out and get a freaking iPhone. They find the money to go out and buy tickets to go see this dumbass movie. They find the money to pay them tithes and offering every single Sunday to that damn preacher and that church. That jackleg church. Somebody explain that to me. Could somebody explain where in the rotation of the world around the sun and the moon around planet Earth and our solar system around the universe, does that make any fucking sense? How am I stunting in a Ferrari but I can't pay my own damn light bill? How do I have $100 Jordans on but need GoFundMe dollars when rent time come around? This, for those of you who know me, this is why I said in several of my videos that I no longer take the black community or this pro-black nonsense seriously. Because there is something seriously wrong with the way a majority of Negroes think and reason. I'm done.